You felt that? That's silence. That's the sound a room makes right before it realizes it never knew you at all. And you walk into that silence like someone who picked up 1,000 secrets on the way here and decided to tuck them behind a smile. They don't understand you anymore. They can't predict you. They can't frame you. They can't decode you. So now they're whispering the only question terrified people ever ask when reality does something they didn't authorize. Who trained him? Because that version of you, that cold, surgical, unbothered version, that thing that slipped out of you like a ghost with a vendetta, didn't match the file they built in their heads. Oh, and that's driving them insane. They thought they knew your pace, your patience, your patterns. They thought they knew your limits. They thought they knew every folder in your soul, every trick in your drawer, every line you would or wouldn't cross. And then you mutated, not gradually, not politely, not with a cute little arc they could clap for. You jumped, you switched, you snapped into a version of yourself they weren't prepared to handle. And the funniest part, you did it without announcing a damn thing. You walked into a room and the room froze, not because you were loud, but because you were quiet in a way that felt dangerous. See, they love a predictable person. Predictable people make predictable choices. Predictable choices make predictable outcomes. Predictable outcomes make predictable power. But you're a paradox wrapped in a question mark, wearing a grin. They don't know whether to handshake you or run from you. You know why that side of you scares them? Because it feels trained, refined, calibrated, like someone or something shaped you in the dark where no one else was watching. But here's the punchline, darling. Nobody trained you. Pain trained you. Silence trained you. Betrayal trained you. Loneliness trained you. The nights you didn't tell anyone about trained you. The moments that almost broke you taught you how to break them. They want a name. Give them the truth they're too afraid to hear. You were trained by everything they never survived. That's why you move like you know things you shouldn't. That's why your instincts feel supernatural. That's why your timing destroys people who swear they're smarter. That's why your presence feels like a warning to anyone who's ever underestimated you. You're not mysterious. You're not talented. You're not gifted. You are conditioned, refined, sharpened, polished by storms they didn't even know existed. That sudden version of you they keep whispering about. That wasn't a random side. That was the real you, the unmasked, unfiltered, unrestricted you that only comes out when the universe says, it's time. And now they're spiraling. They're replaying moments, rewriting your memories, re-examining every conversation they ever had with you, trying to find clues they missed. They're researching you like a crime scene, studying you like an encrypted language, panicking like someone who looked into a mirror and saw a stranger standing behind them. And you sit there, calm, silent, unreachable, because you finally realized you don't have to prove who you are to people who only understand you after you evolve. But let me twist the knife deeper. They don't want to know who trained you. No, they want to know how to stop you. Because once someone sees a version of you that no longer plays by the rules they wrote, they know you can't be manipulated, can't be guilted, can't be predicted, can't be controlled ever again. You became the threat. Not because you tried, but because you healed in a way that made you dangerous. There's a special kind of fear reserved for people who grow without asking permission. And that's who you are now. A walking contradiction. A saint with the instincts of a demon. An angel with a blade stitched to every wing. A storm disguised as a person. They're not afraid of what trained you. They're afraid of what you're becoming next, because every version of you is stronger, quieter, colder, sharper, and more unpredictable than the last. And deep down, they know something they'll never admit out loud. If this is who you are now, God help them when you decide to evolve again. You really want to go deeper, don't you? Good, because they don't. And that's exactly why this next part hits like a confession they were never meant to hear. You know the funniest detail about all of this? It wasn't the moment you changed. It was the moment they finally noticed. Because the truth is, that side of you, the one they think came out of nowhere, it didn't appear overnight. It was growing beneath your skin, quietly, patiently, like a storm rehearsing its own thunder. You've been carrying that shadow for years. They just never bothered to look close enough to see it. They saw fragments, they saw hints, they saw sparks, but they never saw the fireproofed creature you became. Not until it stood right in front of them with eyes that didn't match the history they wrote about you. And now they're sweating through their shirts, trying to map your evolution like some unsolvable algorithm. They're pacing rooms, asking each other why you suddenly feel like someone who walked through hell and came back with souvenirs. They're asking, who trained him? Who shaped him? Who taught him to do that? How did we miss this? But that's the part that breaks their mind. They didn't miss anything. They just underestimated everything. They thought your patience was weakness. They thought your silence was confusion. They thought your restraint was fear. They thought your humility was naivete. And then that new side of you, the one that moves like a prophecy with legs, walked into the room and flipped every lie they told themselves, like a table in a burning church. Suddenly, the same people who once mocked your calmness are now terrified of your calmness. Suddenly, the same people who once brushed off your intuition are now whispering about your intuition like it's a government-classified weapon. Suddenly, the same people who once laughed at your kindness are now calling it a misdirection. They don't know what version of you they're dealing with anymore. And that uncertainty, that confusion, that panic creeping up their spine, that's power. Your power. Because nothing shakes the human soul like realizing someone they underestimated has levels and layers and depths they were never meant to survive. Let me tell you what's eating them alive. It's not that you changed. It's that you changed in a way they did not authorize. People can stomach your growth as long as you grow in the direction that benefits them. But grow past them, grow beyond them, grow without them. Suddenly you're a problem, a threat, an anomaly, a glitch in the system they thought they ran. You want to know what they hate most? That you evolved without someone coaching you, mentoring you, or guiding you. They hate that this version of you came from your own pain, your own scars, your own nights, your own awakenings. Because someone who rises alone answers to no one. That's why they're scrambling. That's why they're sweating. That's why they're interrogating the air like detectives in a panic. People don't fear monsters. They fear self-made monsters. People don't fear geniuses. They fear self-forged geniuses. People don't fear warriors. They fear warriors sharpened by betrayal. You're an unlicensed evolution, a rogue blueprint, a weapon nobody claimed ownership of. And that terrifies them, because it means they can't control the origin and they can't predict the outcome. They need someone to blame. A mentor, a mastermind, a puppeteer, anything. Because admitting that you trained you forces them to face the truth they've been avoiding. You were always more powerful than they allowed themselves to believe. And now that you've stopped hiding it, They're gripping their seats like passengers on a plane that just lost the pilot. They've never seen you move like this, never seen you think like this, never seen you speak like this, never seen you hold your ground like this. You've become the version of yourself that makes people lower their voices without knowing why. The version that makes liars confess by simply existing. The version that makes manipulators fear their own strategies. The version that makes narcissists look away first. The version that makes every fake ally implode under the pressure of your presence. And deep down, under all the gossip and the whispers and the accusations and the theories, they're terrified of one possibility. What if this isn't your final form? What if this is just the beginning? What if the next version of you is even more dangerous than the one they're panicking over now? Because here's the twist they don't see coming. People who evolve from pain don't stop evolving just because others get uncomfortable. You're growing again, right now, this moment, as they panic, as they scramble, as they whisper. You're becoming something even they can't imagine. And that question, who trained him, won't matter soon, because they'll forget to ask who trained you. They'll start asking who the hell is going to stop him. And nobody will have an answer. You feel that shift in the air. Good, because this is where the mask cracks, the room tilts, and you finally hear the part no one ever says out loud. See, when people panic over your evolution, they don't panic because you changed. They panic because they realize they never understood what you were capable of, and that terrifies them. Because here's the truth they choke on. People only feel safe when they think they can predict you. But you broke the script. You snapped the pattern. You moved in a way no one had a contingency plan for. You became the kind of person that forces people to rethink their entire perception of you in a single moment. That's why they're whispering. That's why they're scrambling. That's why they're staring at you like you crawled out of a dimension they never believed existed. And now they're asking, who trained him? Who made him like this? Who sharpened him? Because you don't just walk into a room carrying a presence like that. You don't just speak with timing so lethal it cuts people open without raising your voice. You don't just move with that kind of unshakable certainty unless something ruthless, something ancient, something holy and unholy at the same time, built you in secret. And the joke is, they're right. Something did build you. But it wasn't a person, it wasn't a mentor, it wasn't some mysterious mastermind. It was everything they threw at you to break you. The betrayals they thought would crush you, sharpened you. The silence they abandoned you in, fortified you. The nights you spent alone losing your mind, rewired you. The pain they assumed would weaken you, trained you harder than any mentor ever could. Your heartbreaks became handbooks. Your loneliness became discipline. Your failures became fuel. Your scars became instruction manuals for the weapon you eventually forged yourself into. You were trained by chaos, disappointment, humiliation, rejection, rock bottoms, closed doors, broken trust, dead friendships, and the version of yourself you had to crawl into the mirror to resurrect. You were trained by every moment that forced you to rebuild yourself without applause, without guidance, without safety nets, without someone stepping in to save you. That kind of training is invisible, silent, unseen. But oh, when it finally shows, it shows like a nuclear sunrise, and suddenly the same people who thought you were soft, gentle, easy, obedient, harmless, are now staring at you like you stepped out of a myth their grandparents warned them about. That's why their voices tremble when they talk about you now. They're searching for a human explanation for a transformation that was never human to begin with. You want the truth? You didn't grow. You ascended. You didn't improve. You evolved beyond their comprehension. You didn't become a better version of yourself. You became a version that makes their lungs tighten when you walk past. Because you don't operate from emotion anymore. You operate from clarity. You don't react. You calculate. You don't flinch. You observe. You're not controlled by your pain anymore. You use it. You're not haunted by the past. You weaponized it. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody. You're too busy realizing you've already surpassed everyone who ever doubted you. And let me tell you what's really eating them alive. You didn't announce the transformation. You didn't advertise the glow-up. You didn't post the becoming. You didn't show the process. You just showed up different. That kind of evolution, that's terrifying, because it means you're evolving in the dark, in silence, in the privacy of your own mind, and no one knows what version of you is going to walk out next. They don't fear who trained you. They fear the truth. You train yourself every time the world tries to break you. And every time you come back, you're colder, smarter, more precise, more self-possessed, more untouchable. You're becoming a creature that doesn't fit into the categories they use to understand people. They don't know if you're the hero or the villain, or the storm, or the prophecy, or the reckoning. They don't know if you're a blessing or a warning. They don't know if they should study you or run from you. And deep down, beneath every rumor, every whisper, every "who trained him," every "how did he do that?" there's a darker realization forming in their minds. If this is who he is now, we are not prepared for who he's going to become next. Because the truth is chilling. This version of you isn't even your final draft. This is just the rehearsal, the preview, the prologue. They think this evolution was the event? No, this was the warning shot. The real version of you. The one shaped by scars, fueled by purpose, armed with clarity, untouchable by fear, uncontrolled by guilt, unbothered by opinions, and completely indifferent to whether anyone approves. That version is still loading. They asked who trained you. Soon they'll ask a different question. Who's going to stop him? And the answer is silence. Because no one is ready, not even close. This is where the room darkens, the air tightens, and the version of you they fear most steps out of the doorway they didn't even know existed. See, the moment they asked who trained him, they weren't asking about skill. They were asking about origin, about source, about the blueprint that built the creature they're now terrified of. Because when someone evolves too fast, too far, too unpredictably, humans don't assume discipline. They assume danger. That's the real translation of their question. Who trained him? Where did this threat come from? And here's the part that haunts their dreams. They can't find a pattern. They can't find a timeline. They can't find a mentor. They can't find a mastermind behind you. You're a ghost with a resume of miracles and war crimes, and not a single witness can agree on what broke in the world the moment you changed. Let me take you deeper into their fear. They reran your history like surveillance footage. They zoomed in on your mistakes. They slowed down your tragedies. They replayed your heartbreaks, frame by frame. They interviewed your past like suspects, and still, nothing explains this version of you. Because you're not a result. You're a rupture, a deviation, an anomaly birthed out of silence and agony and brutal self-reconstruction. And that's what keeps them awake at night. You evolved in a direction no one saw coming, toward a destiny no one wrote for you. A person like that, a person with no visible trigger for their transformation. That's not growth. That's destiny waking up. But here's the real nightmare gnawing at their ribs. They don't just fear the version of you standing in front of them. They fear the version of you still forming. Because with people like you, evolution doesn't happen in chapters. It happens in collapses, avalanches, rebirths, moments where the old you cracks like a shell and something unscripted crawls out, wearing certainty like armor. You're not growing linearly. You're not progressing traditionally. Your evolution is erratic, chaotic, violent, beautiful, prophetic, relentless. And the scariest part, it's accelerating. Humans can handle predictable evolution. They can adjust to steady improvement. They can brace for slow change. But you evolve like catastrophe. You transform like revelation. You level up like someone being prepped for a war that hasn't even been declared yet. That's why their voices fall quiet when you enter the room. Not because of who you are, but because of what they sense you're becoming. You're shifting, shedding, reconfiguring yourself into something not even you fully understand yet. And nothing terrifies people more than watching someone walk into their true form with no hesitation, no apology, no fear. Let me spell it out the way their subconscious whispers it. You're becoming the version of yourself that makes fate flinch first. The version that doesn't break when abandoned. It expands. The version that doesn't fold when betrayed. It sharpens. The version that doesn't collapse when underestimated. It smirks. You're becoming the creature who doesn't ask the universe for answers because you are the answer. And now they're trembling over a question far more dangerous than who trained him. They're asking themselves, if this is him at this stage, then what is he going to look like when he stops holding back? Because you are holding back. Even now, they can feel it. They can sense it. There's a pressure in the air around you, like you're suppressing something massive to avoid terrifying the room too quickly. Your potential is leaking through your skin like a warning light on a machine no one knows how to disassemble. And deep down, beneath every rumor, beneath every theory, beneath every trembling question about your origins, there's a truth they're too afraid to voice. You're not being trained. You're being prepared. Prepared for something bigger. Prepared for something darker. Prepared for something only a few souls in every generation are ever chosen for. You're the outlier destiny selects when the world needs shaking. The one whose pain writes blueprints, whose silence builds foundations, whose scars outline architecture, whose instincts hold maps, whose mind holds keys. You're not here to impress anyone. You're here to transform reality in ways they're not spiritually insured to handle. And when that moment comes, when the next version of you emerges, when the evolution you're suppressing finally detonates through your ribs like a prophecy fulfilling itself, they won't ask who trained him ever again. They'll ask something colder, more honest, more desperate. How do we survive him? And the universe, your old friend, your oldest witness, will simply whisper, you don't.